Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Master of the Covenant, the Crusher. Welcome, brothers and sisters. The apocalypse. I will avenge, saith the Lord. It's a time of vengeance, brothers and sisters. And I'm going to go into some things in a more difficult, more complex way, because we talk mathematics here. So I'm going to go a little deeper than I normally have or in the past. Because we're talking mathematics here, brothers and sisters, and you're going to have to grasp mathematics sooner or later, sooner the better. Because Master Farah Muhammad told you, right? He left this information with the messenger that if you wish to be successful, learn the mathematical language. Because that's the nature of the universe. You can't play chess with the rules of checkers. You can't be successful in this universe unless you understand the laws of the universe. And KV doesn't. He knows some of them. He don't know all of them. It's one of the most fundamental ones he has no understanding whatsoever. These religions are all false. Every one of them. Without exception. Because none of them are based on mathematics. All of them are based on some form of dogma. See, you just got to faith, just go along with it. And none of them hold up against mathematics. None of them hold up against logic. Not one of them. As soon as you say, oh man, no, you don't either. Take for instance, you tell me that nothing happens without the will of Allah. Nothing. Exactly nothing. Nothing happens without the will of Allah. Isn't that what you say? Isn't that your interpretation of what you think the Quran is saying? Nothing happens without the will of Allah. So, you have the devils, you call whatever you call them, right? And when they sent a cruise missile up your behind, it couldn't happen unless Allah willed it. That's exactly what you said. You said it cannot happen unless Allah wills it. So that means he willed that missile to come up your behind. That means when it explode, it couldn't happen unless Allah willed it. And you say you was told submission to the will of Allah. That's what you say your Islam means. That's what you say your Islam means. So when it explodes and blows up your ass, you should say all praise be to Allah. Because that's his will and you're in submission to it. So why are you fighting it? Oh, is Allah's will to fight it back? So Allah's fighting against himself? See, it doesn't hold up against mathematics. But if you go and say that, they cut your head off because they result to emotion when the intellect fails. All of them. Christianity, fundamental principle. You can obviate consequence. You can do anything you want to do. Just believe in Jesus, your consequences are abated. Go against the fundamental laws of the universe. Against everything you know in creation. But that's one step you say, bullshit. And we go on and on and on. See? The only true religion, as Elijah Muhammad told you, as Master Muhammad told him, is mathematics. That's the only true religion. Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam. Period. So I'm going to go on a little complex stuff here, bro. So I'm going to try to take it slow. Right? So hope you keep up. I know some of you out there, most of you out there, and if you watch this all, you're not going to understand any of this. Unless you're a mathematician, maybe. But I can't sit and do nothing and sit around waiting for you. I'm moving on, brothers and sisters. It's your job to keep up. See, because I'm keeping up with Master Farah Muhammad. I kept up with Elijah Muhammad. I ran a court with Elijah Muhammad, right? Made a part. I kept moving, right? I got the angel and move forward. And move forward in time. That's something we're going to talk about. If you get lost in time, you know who's lost in time? Go to the graveyard. You're all lost in time. You don't move forward anymore. And some of you, that's your destination. Because if you're not moving forward in time, you're moving straight to the graveyard. Because you're going to be lost in time. You will not be here for the future. All the people in the graveyard, they're not here for the future. Because they got lost in time. Let's see what we have here. What's going on here? Okay. Paper scissors. I tell you. If I can do this or not, I'll try it. There's several systems going, brothers and sisters, and have to do this because they attack it. You just have to have backups and backups and backups. Death struggle. Brothers and sisters, we have been in a death struggle for the last 50,000 years. A death struggle. All the nations are against us. They saw a foot slip and they see it, right? Open, take power forever. That's what's at stake here, brothers and sisters. Because who wins this war will rule forever. That's what's at stake here. And if your enemies rule, how do you think they're going to rule you? Because they will make sure you never come to power again if they can win this war, the death struggle. That Dr. Shabazz started preparing you for 50,000 years ago. Master Muhammad came to make you aware of it, and Dr. Muhammad spent 40-some years explaining to you, getting you prepared for the mission of the covenant, right? Who would take you to the final battles. Okay? So we're going to talk about these wars. Death struggle. It's a death struggle for life. Tree of life. We are the tree of life. Tree of life is DNA, and we have the total sequence from A to Z. And you don't understand that, bro, since most of you don't. But you will if you make it to the future. If you make it to the future. Hold on, bro, it's okay. That's the question. Will you make it to the future? It says, the God says, I will avenge. See, first of all, we got to avenge our women's honor. Because our women was subject to the worst. See, we can be subject to a shitstorm. Because we're made to deal with that. See, we're designed to deal with that. To swim through shit if we have to. Right? To deal with a shitstorm. But our sisters weren't designed for that. They weren't designed for that. They were designed for beauty, love, compassion. They weren't designed for that, but they had to go through that. And they had to go through some of you want to knock them out because of your frustration. So I don't care what nobody says. If they want to go home, they're going home. See, because we're going to avenge their honor. We're going to make it like it never even happened. They've been the highest levels of civilization. Something to look up to and honor, respect and love, even to a degree worshipped. Because they're the goddesses. And I'm going to make that clear. I'm not backing off that 100. Just because I don't say it sometimes, that doesn't mean I forgot it. I'm not backing off at 1 inch, not 1 square inch, not 1 millimeter. I'm not backing off of that. I will avenge, specifically talking about our sisters, our females, but also our honor also, but primarily theirs. Will avenge death struggle. Okay, bro, says here we go. Like I said, it's gonna be a little ride here, bro and sisters. Tomorrow. What is tomorrow? I'm trying to take it a little slow, bro and sisters. See, tomorrow's not here yet. But see, you need to understand some basic mathematics to understand what tomorrow is. Because you're creating tomorrow right now. There's no such thing as present. It's present is an illusion. Because by me just saying that, I already moved past the point I started saying. So I moved into the future at the point I said it. So therefore, this present is an illusion. Because, by the time you say it, you already moved past into the future. You're constantly moving into the future unless you're dead. So present is an illusion. We say, well, present time, we can, in general, right? See, but in absolute terms, there's no such thing as present. Because if you say present, right, it took you time to say present. That means you're not in the same time frame that you was when you said it. Anyway, we don't need to go there, brothers and sisters. But tomorrow, okay, we receive energy approximately every 50 years as the universe is contracting. All energy is out there, it's coming back. Because that's how it got out there. We spread, expanded the heavens, that the Quran says, and now we're suffering energy deprivation for the last 50,000 years. Why? Because all the energy used to be here is out there. So that means we have less and less energy now. But now the energy is coming back. It's coming back in waves of waves every approximately 50 years. I'm not going into details of that. I got a presentation to explain it. That's some sisters that went out and explained it too, so the information's there. However, we absorb energy on a rate base of a 24-hour basis. That's why we sleep, because right now we're not absorbing enough energy, right, to maintain a complete cycle. 24 hours. So most of us, 16 hours, and then we have to wait to be recharged. So just assume that we recharge every time the sun comes up. Put it that way. So, but it's not the energy from the sun that we're dependent on, but just use that as a model. So we get recharged by the sun, right? And then we get enough energy from it, and it lasts 16 hours, and then we got to go so the sun comes up and recharges again. See, it's something like that, but that's not quite accurate, right? But you got silly Western come out. We suffer because we deprive, because we're not getting as much sunshine as we should be getting, right? And that's why we deprive. We're going into the state. That's bullshit. Because the Africans, they getting plenty. And what's their problem over there? See, they try to wax intelligent, try to wax mathematical. He's supposed to have some PhD. I don't know what he did. Maybe he can wipe his ass with it because he's not doing really good. He's saying stupid stuff like that. And you got Noi talking about the giraffes got long necks because a giraffe a million years ago had a short neck. He said, man, I want to eat that leaf up there. And he passed that desire on to the sun. So down the line, a million years later, they was trying to, giraffe was born, they had a neck that. Come on. They need to shut up over there. They will be shutting in a minute. I'm shutting them up. At any rate, right? You take the energy and you take it and you absorb it on a 24-hour basis. And right now we don't absorb enough to get, there's not enough to absorb to keep us going for 24 hours. See, Master Muhammad can go 24 hours. We will be able to once energy levels increase. Some of us will do it after this energy level that we're receiving right now, right? If we live a very righteous life, right, then we'll be able to do it in this 50-year period. Most of us will be able to do it in the next 50-year period. Most of us that here now and paying attention will still be here in the next 50-year period. And then, because Master Muhammad, because he's made man and he got a devil body that doesn't need that much energy, that he has enough energy to maintain the whole 24 hours. But he has to be very, very strict right? Life in order to maintain that. That's another story altogether. Say that happens. Okay. So that means that every day, right, you get a burst of energy within that 50-year period. If every 50 years you get 50,000 units of energy, the Earth gets some 50 billion units of energy, let's say it like that, 50 billion, right? See, okay, so that means every year Earth's going to give you a billion units of it because it's 50 billion, right? So you get a billion every year, and then that billion that you get is divided 365 days. So that's how much you get every day. So that's how much energy burst you get every day, right? See? So whatever that number is, right? So in other words, every year, if the Earth gets 50 billion every 50 years, that means there's 1 billion every year. That's got to be absorbed by everybody. Then you got to divide it by 365 days because it runs a 365-day cycle. That's how much everyone gets. And that gets back to another thing I'm not going to talk about here, but the population bomb, because that's the weapon that China and India is using, because these people are ancient, and they, not China, but India's, and they know things that these Westerns don't know. And while you're aborting everything else, they haven't, because they know that everybody gets the same amount of energy. That means they control more energy than you. Nobody has more energy. No one has more energy than anyone else. But it's like a family, right, that has 5 children. Each child is getting maybe 100 a day, right? But the father's controlling it. He doesn't get more than 100 himself, but he's controlling it. And that's why we here, and we got to get out here, because and just being controlled, that means they get the quality to what they in other words, the father can control it. Instead of getting the children steaks, he could be getting partridge, dog food, because he controls it. The same thing is the symbiotic relationship. So we getting the shit in the deal and they getting to go. That's another story. But those of you that are paying attention, you understand what I'm talking about. So what's happening here is that you get so much energy. Now, tomorrow is ignited by today. Tomorrow is ignited by today. The next 5 minutes is ignited by right now. Because you're creating a future. That was the universal contraction. The energy is there. But you're giving it form. You're giving it form. You're giving that energy form. And you're giving it form. So if you do nothing with it, then it stays formless. But no, it does stay formless. Why? Because it takes the form that other people are giving it. Energy's not going to stay there, just formless, unless there's no one to give it form. So if you don't give it form, then it's going to take the form that other people are giving it. See? So what happens then? That means that's resistance to you, because it's not being the way you want it to be, it's the way other people want it to be, which is resist to you. Because I don't think anybody wants to be like other people want it to be. If you like chocolate cake, you don't want anybody giving you vanilla if you like chocolate. So that's resistance to you. Because you're not doing anything, giving it form, other people giving it form. You don't want to control it, nothing's out of control. Somebody has, if you don't control yourself, someone else is controlling you. There's no vacuum in that. So if you don't take and get energy form, the other people are giving it form, and that's resistance to you because it's not turned out like you want it. So, and if that keeps going, the resistance builds up, right? Which is pressure building up on you. That's quality pressure. I talk about quantity pressure, quality pressure. That's quality pressure, because they create their world the way they want it to be, not the way you want it to be. And that's resistance to you, because the world's becoming more and more unlike the way you want it. See? It's becoming more unfamiliar to you, more like you don't want it. It's turning into, oh man, it's this, I don't like this, I don't like this, like what they do right now. They turn the energy into all this sexual immorality and all the stuff they're doing, because they control that energy. And you might not like that, but you ain't doing anything about it. So now you're in a world you don't like. You're around people you don't like. You're doing things you don't like. That's resistance to you. And that builds up and builds up. Because resistance is pressure. So eventually that pressure crushes you. It crushes you out of resistance. So you need to take and be active, proactive, and create energy in the form, your energy in the form you want it to be. See, I'm talking more details because I call it, self-imposed energy deprivation, because you're out here doing all the things they want you to do, right? So you're not creating the future for yourself. You're creating it where they want it to be. And then you're upset why I'm in prison. I don't have anything. There's a problem. That's a problem. You can understand why these things happen because you allow them to happen because you're not doing anything. That's why they don't want you unified. Because you be focused. That means you start changing the way the reality like you want it to be. So you creating that's called time travelers. You're traveling into the future. That's how you travel in the future, by turning energy in the form that you want it to be. That's time travelers. You turn the energy that you get to the form you want it to be. Because if you don't, then people turn to what they want it to be, and that means that's resistance to you. So tomorrow is an energy wave. It's a pressure wave. Tomorrow is pressure. And either your thoughts are grading that pressure because you giving structure to it, you give form to energy. Remember, thought is pressure. Thought is pressure. So if your thoughts are weaker, that means they're controlling your future for. They're controlling the future. That means you're being crushed out of existence. So if you don't use your mind and start controlling your energy to give it form that you want it to be, that means you have to live with the form other people give it, and that's resistance to you, and you have to live with it or die with it. But you probably will die with it sooner or later, because if you don't do anything, that's what's going to happen. You're going to find yourself in a closed space, a tight space you can't move, because that's what your prison is. That means somebody's got total control of your future, total control of your future, total. Because if you want to come out of prison, you start taking control of it. See, it says, the messenger will come healing his wings. I'm teaching you the secret to healing, the secret to get out of prison. He said he would release the prisoners. You're doing that to yourself. It's not those bars that's holding you in that prison. It's not the warden. It's you holding yourself in prison because you're not taking control of your future. You go out here, you get in there, and you say, okay, man, I'm in here, man. I'm in 10 years, man, right? So I'm going to get my little hottie, right? Let me jump my little hottie over here. Man, look what you're doing. I'm not throwing the weed. So all you're doing is making your situation, you lock yourself in more deeper. Because that's what got you in there to begin with. Because you didn't take control of your future. You ain't control. That's how you make your future. You're creating your future. You're creating your tomorrow. Tomorrow is a pressure wave. You deal with a pressure wave every day. When you wake up, you're a pressure wave. I mean, you're actually dealing with every instant. But the point, like I said, it's a 24-hour cycle. But if you look at it in terms of just periods, but every 24 hours, you hit with tomorrow. And tomorrow there's a pressure wave. This pressure wave is going to crush you, right? Or you're going to control it, give it form. It's one or two. We just stand still. Because if you stand still in life, do nothing, right? Then what's happening is someone else is giving form to your energy. Put you in a closer, tighter space until you lock down, to ultimate, right? Casket. You're doing it to yourself, brothers and sisters. So, for the last 30 years, I've been taking and using my energy, right, to create That's when I move forward into the time. I move, and the point is, you get ahead of time because the thought is pressure. You get ahead of tomorrow. Tomorrow's a pressure. But if you're greater, if your pressure is greater than the pressures around you, it means you guarantee you continue to move on to the future. The greater, the better. But if you're equal, you just treading like treading water. The less, you're being crushed. Move to a smaller, homeless, jobless, right? Prison, hospital bed. That's what you're creating for yourself. That just doesn't happen. There's such things as accident. I'm trying to explain to you, brothers and sisters. Tomorrow is a pressure wave. And I also point out that each day is a puzzle. Come with a, because it's why I say that, because you're dealing with the complaint, because remember, everybody's given form. So you got to figure out how to use that energy and train that energy to form you want it. That's a puzzle that you got to deal with. Because when you're going, you don't, in other words, put it this way, you're not dealing with formless energy every day, because you deal with energy everybody else is giving form to, if they're giving form to it all. And that's the energy you got to take and form into where you want it. So you got to figure out, you got to understand how, you got to be able to solve those problems. You have to solve those problems to create the way you want it. So you're not getting a piece of clay that's just, you get a clay that's got some form to it, it's still moist, but you have to take it to form that you get it and turn it to form you want it. That's why it's a riddle. Every day is a puzzle. Because if it's just you in the world by yourself, it wouldn't be a puzzle. Because you just, I got the energy, okay, I'm gonna do this. I got energy, I'm gonna do that, right? But if you got the more people you got, right? Because they give form to energy too. They want it the way they want it. And you got to deal with these people every day. You talk to them, they say, I want to do this. And so, therefore, you have to be, right? Have enough energy and also enough brains, because thought is pressure, to take and use the energy and be able to convert the energy into the form you want. Because energy is not coming to you plain vanilla. It's coming to you complex because everybody else is putting their fingerprint on it. See? The brain, right, depends on the complexity of the brain. That's the quality of the pressure. See, animals have brains too, but their quality of pressure is very simple. So the more complex your brain is, right, the easier to solve those problems, because you take but you cause more problems for other people because you create more complexity than they're able to handle. So that's a form of resistance too. That's why the more powerful your brain is, you force other people in submission on the quality level, because it's hard to unravel the form of energy you're giving it. Let me say it again. You're getting energy every day, but it's coming in some form because you other people giving form to it too. So if you don't give any form to it, right, then you have to deal with the form they get. That's resistance. That's pressure. Resistance, pressure too. Right? Okay, so now what you do is you say, right, but you give them complexity to it too, so they got to deal with your complexity. But if they're giving more complexity, see, remember that complexity is a form of resistance also. They're giving, okay, let me make it simple. They're giving it form, right? But how complex is the form they're giving it? Let me say that away. How complex is the form they're giving it? Because you're going to have to unravel that to give it to the form you want it to be. Because those are the ingredients you have to work with. Put that away. Because they put their take on it, their nature, their emotions on it. So that's the information, that's the energy you're going to have to take to form the way you want it to be. You understand? So the more complicated it is, the harder it is for you to do that. And so the more complex your brain is, the easier for you to do that. But it's also causing a problem with other people because you put your take on it also. So now you're making it more complicated, right? And so they got to deal with that. And so it's going to crush some people, it's going to force some people into submission. That's why Supreme Being forced everybody in submission, because it's more complicated, because they can't unravel. That's what the angel is all about, because they could not unravel it. Only one person could unravel it. And so he put a form on it, because you hearing this stuff, you might not respond to it, probably maybe because your brain's not sufficient enough to deal with it. But someone else is, and that's affecting their brain, which is going to affect yours indirectly, and still the word is still getting out there. It's complicated. Because the angel put more complexity on it. So now you see the world in a more complex way. We wouldn't even see it before at all. So it was simple. So when it was simple, I can do this. I go get me a little job, you see. And now you find, wait a minute. That might be the right. That might not be the right way. Because now I got a choice. I got Abraham covenant, the promised land. I got this way may not be right, and see now I got to unravel this. Because see, they made it simple for you. Oh, just follow the American dream, but it was a dead end. But it was simpler for you. But now you find it's a dead end. Then you got, I got to unravel this. And that's why a lot of people are not responding to, because their mind is not able to unravel it, because that's more complexity, because now the world's become more complex. And then hereafter, every day it becomes more and more complex. Because that's where we are, because we're a complex being, and every day we make it more and more complex. And when those things keep up, continue to move in time. That's only the original people, eventually the only ones going to be around, because the devils right now, it's too complex for them right now. They can't unravel it. They're confused. So whole civilization, because once you put those thoughts, angel thoughts out there, that's affecting the energy. It's giving a certain quality, a more complex quality to it, and so they can't. That's resistance, but that's another form of resistance. But it's so great that they cannot. It's putting greater pressure on them. And now the world's more complex. They're trying to unravel it. Oh man, I got the Chinese problem. I got the Iran problem. I got this problem. I got the problem with these black people. I got a problem. I hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I'm gonna think of leave there because I got a lot of things I want to talk about. But I could spend a lot of time speaking on this. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. So I want to talk about binding energy. This gets back into complexity also, because what's happening is that Suleiman is putting complexity. They said only 140,000, right? Can deal with. And that's causing binding energy. See, it's not like glue, putting things together like that. No. It's something more like harmonic motion, because it's connecting their brains, and their brains is going in the same sequence. But see, in other words, you got people that's walking around in circles, they're lost, right? And they have no idea. Then someone comes along and says, this is the way. And they know the right way, the right direction, right? And all of a sudden, all these people are all different directions. They're all following one direction behind that one person. If that person didn't show up, there's no binding, because now they bound together, because they bound together by what? They have the same destination as one person leading them. That's what I mean by binding energy. That's where angel had to come, Suleiman had to come to take and give binding energy to people, because they had to go all kinds. They first had to go to American Dream. They got all these different things, walking around, and you didn't know you was blind. Then he come and say, that's why I said, I'm the way, I'm the light. And all those that's worked with him, if they understand what they're doing, they provide binding energy. That's why I used to call them uh, what you call those, I forget what you call them, bring ships in. I forget what you call them, lighthouse, that was another name for it, right? That's body energy. Because you have to have someone come and tell you and say it speaks to your nature. That says the sheep know to learn the master's call. See, because you speak to their nature. They say, oh, that's the way. And so they stick with you. Why? Because they know that you know the way, and they know if they walk away from you, they're going to be lost again. They don't want to be lost again. And they stick with you because you're going the way they want to go. That's the way they want to go. That's why they can hear you. Because you come and say, hey, I know the way out of here. I know the way out of here to go to New York. And these people want to go to Nevada. They say, well, what's that going to do me? I'm going to go to Nevada. So you're going to New York. Because I know the way to go to Nevada. Oh, okay. That's where we're going. We're following you. You understand, brothers and sisters? I'm going to leave that alone. I said, I got a lot to talk about this, but I got a lot of things I want to talk about, brothers and sisters. I'm just going to touch these things. Maybe another time I speak to them more. Right? Where we at here? Oh. Let me tell you about wars here. Okay? We're talking about the pressure because of you move forward time, you give quality, you give formed energy. Right? We're talking about binding because now, right, you're at war, you have to know the right direction, you have to know who the enemy is. That's what I was just talking about. Right? Somebody come and tell you this is the right way, this is the enemy. Not Farrakhan, I tell you, he's telling you now the enemy is your friend. The devil ain't enemy no more. He's a liar. He's confusing. They're going around in circles. Oh, Dr. Mama said there was devils. Let's say devils. No, they're not devils. No, some of them. It's the satanic Jews and all this bullshit, right? Okay. Then the other thing is here, right? Pressure. Just general pressure. I can tell you all different. See, before I used to just talk about in terms of pressure, just general pressure. But I told you, bro, this is a lot I can talk to you about, but you don't understand basic pressure. What's the point of talking other stuff? So it's a pressure war. It's all about pressure. See? And we can, because our discipline, right, call forth the greatest power. All we need is more energy. We have discipline, we need energy, but they're trying to destroy your discipline. All this gender stuff is aimed at you. Destroy your discipline. See? Drag queens is go destroy your discipline. Drinking, smoking, vaping, legalized marijuana, destroy your discipline. Because they know you have greater discipline than them. And discipline times energy, right, equals power. So now you receive more energy. And if you apply energy to discipline, oh man, they know it's over. Because they cannot. See, right now they fall in discipline. They don't have no natural discipline. That's why prophets and messengers had to come to them and teach them discipline, and then they fall away, and then that's why they're losing their power. They don't think their power's out of a gun. The power's out of discipline, and right now the wise know that they have no power because their discipline is in free fall. They're not obeying the laws discipline that was given to them by the prophets. So the bottom line is watch this. Okay? You can pressure them. Oops. It's crushing them. Okay? More pressure, hotter it gets, the more angry they get. See how angry they're getting? Upset? They fight with each other, all the turmoil, the crime, and everything going in America. They get hot because we put pressure on them. Because our minds, and every time you start, you turn away from that BS, right? And start applying the math, the 5 fundamental principles of Islam, start applying this by yourself, it's crushing them more and more. Because right now I'm crushing them. and everybody that listens to this and apply that, that's the question becomes even more profound. And that's why it says when they see our nation about to come together, because the sign of that is the coming together of the Nation of Islam, rejecting fire, kicking fire, coming together. That's a sign that this is happening. That means a nation be born today. They can't let that happen because that coming together instantly crushes them. That's what all this thing happens once that's what Master Muhammad's looking for. That's what they're looking for. That's what he's looking for. Because it says, it tells you in there, it says that the dragon was waiting to dissolve, to devour. He's waiting. The dragon is waiting. Who's the dragon? The jinn, that means House of Saud, the Sunnis, and American British forces. They're waiting to devour. Because they can't let that happen. As soon as it's born. And that's why I said, we could look for a sign. They look for a sign, John, too, because that's a sign that's about to happen. And they devour it. Soon it's happened. Will the nation be born today? And then what happens? Master Muhammad has to snatch it up before they can do it. That's what it says in chapter 12. So he snatch it up before he can do it. So he has to move before they do. Both see it, but he has to be ready, prepared to move before they can make their move, before they can devour us. Because that's what their plan is. You sitting around playing pinochle or whatever you're playing, video game, whatever, and they already got you. They got their jaws around you. They got your head in their mouth. Then when you take a breath, they snap their jaws closed. And that's why I'm sitting right there, grab you by the neck to snatch, pull you out. So you make a breath. Who's going to be faster? Who's going to be quicker? And he ain't talk. Here. Okay, let's back up a little bit here, right? See, 50,000 years we start off. I'm gonna go through the sequence here fairly quickly. Fam enemy. What's a fam enemy? That means family is turned against you. Family. That's a fam enemy. Turned against us. What's family wars? The first family turned against us was our half-brother Ishmael. Also known as Sunnis, Arabs. Ishmael. And they kicked us out of our land 50,000 years ago. See? That was the war. We didn't go peacefully. They threw us out. So we moved into Lower Africa, because we was in Arabia. That's what our home in the best part of planet Earth. We covered it with sand on the way out. So we remained pristine when we returned. There's untold amounts of topsoil under that sand. Anyway, that's how you know topsoil, because wherever topsoil is produced, oil is producing. And when you have a lot of oil, it produces the same way. Topsoil oil, that's why they call soil. Soil, how you spell soil? S-O-I-L, soil. They both produce the same way. So if you see all that so-called oil in soil, that means there's a lot of topsoil under there. That means it used to be a paradise, because that's how topsoil oil is created from all decayed organic matter. So it wouldn't a desert ever had to be a paradise at some point in time. It could take billions of years to build that up. Anyway, when they kick us in here, there's the Levite brothers. The Bible characterized as Esau and Jacob. See, Esau, they was the oldest one in that part of Africa. That's the oldest brother. We had them by the heels. They kicked us out into there, and they didn't particularly want us there. So they forced us to sell on the west coast of Africa. That's why on the east coast of Africa, Somalis and those in mid-central Africa, like the Ethiopian and everything, they still got hair like we had 50,000 years ago. Because Dr. Boss took us through a process to make us tough as possible. So that's Elijah Muhammad explained all of that. And then some of the Levites came over to us. They said, hey, well, I want to go with you guys. See? So it was a constant conflict between us and them. Nothing serious, nothing major, right? But they wasn't that story of Belshazzar and Belteshazzar. Belshazzar is the one that succeeded um, what's his name? I can work at his name. Nebuchadnezzar. See, because who's really Nebuchadnezzar? You got to understand the story of Daniel. It's complicated, but then his kingdom fell, and Belshazzar became. So we was the kingdom that fell. We was Daniel, so we was forced into his kingdom, Belshazzar's kingdom. See, but I'm not going into that detail here, but we were forced in, and there was a confrontation. It was under their rule. It was under the rule of Belshazzar, right? So we had those two wars. First, we kicked out, and then the war, right? The conflict between us and the Levites. Understand? We Shabazz near the tribe of Levites. So we was in their land. Arabia is our land. Africa is their land. Okay? What are we at here? Okay. I'm a little confused here. And then, right? Okay, then we had the war, Gog and Magog wars. So we're skipping ahead, right? Some 40,000 years, right? To major wars. We have little things in between, right? But this is major wars for us. That's the ones I'm dealing with. Kick our land, right? Conflict being refugee, basically someone's land, right? Under their thumb. And then comes Gog and Magog, fresh out of the dark ages. Chapter 20, and the abyss. Then that war. Destroy humanity. See, the first was take our home. See. First take our land. See. Then take control of our civilization. And then this one's take control of our humanity. 500 years ago, Gog and Magog. See, so we've been war. They take these people making war against us. These things they did to us. But we haven't done anything to anybody. We're losing. In each conflict, we're losing. They're making war against us. See, so this is our decline. This is part we're declining. We're getting weaker and weaker and weaker until the point they taking our very nature from us, our language, everything. At this point, it took everything. So we had nothing. No land, no identity, no nature. I mean, we have basic nature, but they suppressed that. No language, no civilization, nothing, everything. So we're at the bottom. We're the worst case. We reach bottom. And they said when you get to the bottom, there's no place to go but up. Right? So what happens then? Remember, these are wars made against us. War against us. Oh, I missed something here. Let me back up here. Go ahead. Oh, boy. Okay. Oh. Mm-mm. Okay. Mm-mm. And it's just like working cell systems here, and sometimes they'll act. Okay. Now, during the God War, I mean, remember, what kicked that off was the famine enemy because was was in the land of Levites. They didn't want to stay there. See? And our brothers Arabs, right? They didn't want to ever come back home. So they pushed us into the hands of Gog and Magog. Story of Joseph. They pushed in the hands of Gog and Magog. So we got into their hands, the Arabs and Levites. The Arabs opened the door for the devils to come in, and Levites helped them capture us and kidnap us, take us home, take us to their home, right? To America, put it that way. See, everybody's been at war with us. You think you have friends, Farrakhan's, look what he's trying to get you, to fall in love with the Sunnis. Elijah Muhammad wouldn't even let them into the temple. Because we know who the enemy are. He's telling you make love with the enemies. Devils ain't devils anymore. Won't bring to NOI. Want you to be Scientology. Want you to make love with the Sunnis and with who they curse Elijah Muhammad, who they curse Master Muhammad. But you're gonna say and pray with these people, and you're gonna take and sup with these people, and you, Farrakhan, you over. What I want to see you right now is total demons and total idiots. So here is Satan. This is a Satan demon. That kicked off in 1940s, particularly 1948, okay? Because that's when they stole our identity. So now we're rising now. They started to rise, steal the identity. See, so we're up the rising point now. We're down to the bottom. Now we're starting to rise up. So false Israel set up. The whole purpose is still our identity. They stole identity to us. So we're not true seed Abraham. They are, right? And then the demons, that's massive children over the last 500 years are raped, and they produce black-faced devils. See? That was part of their war against us, deceive us and trick us. So then you had the demons, and so what they do? They work together because they set up their false Israel, right? They set up there and store our identity and destroy our image, and they use the demons to do it. They're the ones killing and raping on these movies, acting like fools and dummies and pimps and whores and tramps. They're the ones portraying us to the world. That's not us. It looks like us. That's not us. If it look like us, it ain't us. That's a war. See, that's part of the war to make us see. Before they wouldn't worry about us rising because we was going down. But now we're rising. Now the war is against us to keep us from rising. The war before was to keep us taking away from us, taking away everything away from us. But now we're rising. The nation war now is to keep us from rising, keep us divided. That's what demons do. Keep us divided, keep us from rising. Before it was keep us, the wars take us down. But now that we're rising, we survived that, we're rising. Now the nature of the war is to keep us divided, they impede our growth, and deceive us, do anything they can, right, to keep us from realizing our power, our strength, keep us from rising. You understand, brothers and sisters? Got these demons for our content. He's one of the main ones, he's chief demon. And all these other demons, Hollywood, they're out there and they make us look And they make all this money. I mean, money's an illusion anyway. Make us look like fools and everything else. And say, oh man, my ass. You're gonna pay for it. But you're a demon. Well, you got a special reward coming. Then you got the Dragon War. See? What's the Dragon Wars? It says they was there to devour as soon as was born. Devour as soon as was born. See? That's part of the reason why Farrakhan is pushing Sunnism, because he's in bed with Arabs. Don't teach that stuff. Abraham covenant, because Abraham covenant said land is ours. So he's not teaching anymore, is he? Don't teach the devils, right? Oh, because what? He's a devil. So he's not teaching it anymore either, is he? No Abrahamic covenant? Devils ain't devils anymore? And you gonna tell me that's a lie of Muhammad's teachings? You're not teaching anything anymore. We ain't going nowhere. You see? He took your vision away from you. Snatch your vision away from you. So you have no reward. You have nothing. You have nothing. That Dragon War, devour the nation as soon as it's born. Snatch your vision away. See? You don't have no reward. You're stillborn because you got nothing. You ain't got no life, so stillborn bought you. Because you have no life, you have no vision. A nation without vision perish. Means you have no vision. What's the point of being alive, being born? You have no identity. You have a name. If you got a name, you got a bad name, Ham. Now I could talk a whole lot about that Ham situation too. You understand, bro? So Dragon War says they were still by to devour as soon as nation was born. When nation was born in a day. Our nation's labor right now, bro and sisters, is going to be born any day now. And they're sitting there, they've got plans to devour you, destroy you as soon as you're born. That's why the sin of Jonah, that's the sign, right? Because when the water breaks, that's the sign. Miss baby is about to come forth. That's the sign for Master Muhammad and for the demons and for the dragon. But these demons along with them. You understand, brothers and sisters? It's waiting for. It said he stood there to wait. That means they're waiting to prepare to destroy you. And you playing video games and everything. And some of you are going to be lost. Our people are lost for lack of knowledge. And the demon wars. When the war breaks out, when they miss, because they're going to attack, they miss, Master Muhammad snatch us away, right? Then they're going to send the demons already. They keep us divided. They're going to send the demons in, right? As a force. That's their last ditch method to stop us. Because the demons and the blacks will come together, going to attack all. And demons come together, come as a force. And I've been saying for several years that there's going to be a demon that's going to be Martin Luther King on steroids. He's going to be electrifying all these young black demons out there, right? And they're going to tear this country apart because it is not identified exactly, but it's one person, he's going to lead the demons, and the demon war is going to last 5 months, also called Locust War. And we're the time right now, and all of a sudden you get this figure emerging. Kanye, he's emerging as that. He looks at me, he's that person. See? Because they're going to sideline Fry. Fry going to be with him, he's going to be sidelined. If you understand the angel, he's going to be sidelined. He's going to be with him, he's going to be sidelined. And T.A. Jakes, all the Christian preachers, they're going to be they're older people, right? But they're going to be with him, they're going to be sidelined. He's going to be the one that's going to run it. See? He's going to be the general of that war. But first, we're going to go to war with us. That's last ditch method. See, because there's 17 million of them and 17 million of us. And that's the last ditch method because they're going to try to tell us, no, we need to stay here and fight. That's Farrakhan's thing. We need to take America. America belongs to us. See, Farrakhan already built you up for this. And said, no, we're going to be taken out of here, snatched out of here. First, no, we're going to stay here because America belongs to us. That's not what Muhammad taught. He said, get the hell out of here. He said, we don't want this place. The place is doomed for destruction. But that's what Farrakhan teaches because he's a demon. He's one of them. So they're going to go to war, but they're going to go to war with us first because they're going to try to convince us. That's their last this message. They really, to keep us here, to go, still stick on that American dream plane. Oh no, we can take America. If we all work together, 34 million, we can take it. And so no, we're not going to be involved in that. So we get to fighting. It tells you in Exodus that they got to fight with each other. That they had Elijah came and says, those with me. That means there was division. Why did it say those with me? And then to show that everybody wasn't with him because they had to kill all the people that wasn't. And it says, it tells you the number. You got to understand the angels know how many that is. That shows you the number's correct, right? It's not literal, that number, but you have to understand the angel once that number means. They had to wipe them all out. There was a war. They stood there, the head gets cut. If they sit there and let them cut them, no, they went to war. And they defeated them and threw them out. And then they go to war. That's about Legion, right? Louis Eugene Grant, NOI backwards. Then he's thrown back out to the devil daddies. And that starts the 5 months war. First, they got to war with us. Okay. That's how this, we need to stay here, we need to work together. That's the theme right now. Man, we need to work together. We need to stop. We air our, not air our distance on distance, air our difference, all that kind of stuff. That's the getting at when Sunday talking about BS. No, we don't want, me showing division. I'm not showing division. I'm just pointing out that those are wolves in sheep clothing. I'm not going to complete the whole presentation, brothers and sisters, because I have a lot more. I'm going to finish this part. And part 2, I'll just do tomorrow, perhaps. Oh, no, hold on. Mm-hmm. There you go. Then we got the gym wars. Those of us that got out of here. Okay? We took the Promised Land airline. See, two of them had the tickets. Matter of fact, I'm had the transportation. See, the other ones they took, right? They took the American Airlines, American Dream Airlines, and it's the crash on landing. It crashed on takeoff. So now they fight for their lives. It's an American Dream Airline that crashed on takeoff. See? But we took the Promised Land Airline, see, and land safely. Smooth ride, first class, land safely. See, but we met at the airport with our half brothers who ran us out of there 50,000 years ago. Return home. And instead of being greeted by our brothers, they attack us. That's the jinn. That's where the jinn are. Sunnis, the Arab Sunnis. That's where the jinn are. That's the jinn wars. Talk about it in Exodus. We had to fight to take our land back from them because they didn't want to give it up. Claim it's theirs. That's the jinn wars. It says Joshua would lead it. Master Muhammad would be the general in the air. He'd be a general on the ground. See? That's the jinn wars. When we take back Arabia. Now, I'm doing all this here. America's under extreme famine. I mentioned that to you. An extreme famine. I mean, when I say extreme, it means no food, zero. Only food is human. And you're not only 3/5, you're only 3/5 human, so they catch you, they can eat you because you're not even human. You're only 3/5 human in that constitution. And then I'm gonna stop at this one, balances, because I could be here. I think I'll do a part 2. The Levite Wars. This is called the War of Latter Days that they read in Ezekiel. They think this war happening now. The war of Gog. See, Gog, understand Gog says God came from the land of Magog. See, Magog, America came from Britain. Gog, America is Gog. They came from the land of Magog, which is Britain. Right? See? So they're the ones that came out of the Dark Ages. Right? Adam came out after 1,000 years. Then Eve came out of the side. America. Right? We the tree. Knowledge of good, knowledge of evil. They was oppressing. Anyway. But God is also called the leader of the people of God. He's also called the leader. So in other words, that would make Obama, since he was president of the United States, he's a Gog. Trump is a Gog. Biden's a Gog. So these are the gods going to attack us. So we're home at this point. We're home. We're safe, without walls, in peace. That doesn't refer to false Israel. They've never been at peace. They got walls everywhere. That's the war of the latter days. He's going to attack us. That's the last war, brothers and sisters. For us. No, well, no, it's not a last war, actually. But it's near that, because then you got the war, right? The flood. Well, actually, let me back up, brothers and sisters. Let me back up here. I got ahead of myself here. No, this is the last war. Because the flood took place. I didn't show that here. Because the flood is not our war. That's the war between the Europeans. See? Wait a minute, brothers. I'm getting ahead of myself. The war, Armageddon is the war of Europeans. The apocalypse, right, is the final war destroys them. That's what takes place just before this war. But see, we're not a part of that apocalypse. So that's why I kind of get myself off balance here. Because I'm talking this in frame of just the wars that deal directly with us. So pardon me, boss, I got myself a little off balance there. So this is the last war, because the war of our apocalypse, right? Obama, he's the one they call Lucifer. The one in chapter 17 was the one is, does not, yet is. I mean, it's complicated. I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. But that's what it is. He's gonna lead the Levites. Remember, because Levites had a problem with us. That's Esau. They said we stole their inheritance from them. That's the final last war. Populist is a war between Europeans, not, I'm just talking about the wars that relate to us. So that's why I got a little off kilter there. That's the final one. And it says they will be destroyed on the mountains of Israel, or whatever they call it. They'll be destroyed. And that's it, bro. So that's the last war. Last one. So we're at home, at peace. I'm not going into details about how they interact with each other. America was taken down, all kind of stuff. I'm just talking about the wars. That's what it says war, bro. This is war. And the war that's reflected to us as they relate to us. That's the point I'm making about this is the wars that relate to us directly. All these wars are our making, we've inspired them. I'm talking about the ones we deal with directly head on. Hope you understand, boss. I'm going to leave it there. And I think I'll do a part 2 because there's so much more brothers I had to talk about. And I didn't think I was going to take this long to talk about each one. But there's so much to tell you. And when I start talking so much to tell you, I said, well, I got more and more and more. So I'm going to leave it there. And what happened here? I'm going to leave it there and probably do part 2 tomorrow, the rest of it. Ooh, no wonder. I'm going to do probably part 2, the rest of tomorrow. Yeah. That's part 2 is besides Jonah and some other things. what I wanted to do here, probably get you to understand a little more how energy works in a more complex way. Like I said, but I'm showing you like the ABCs and things, like one plus two plus three kind of stuff, right? At some point, we got to start applying algebra, trigonometry, and calculus. Okay, but I'm gonna leave it there. Brothers and sisters, I'm gonna leave it there. Hope you understand. Assalamu alaikum.